I'm a nutritionist, and here are my go-to snacks for fast metabolism. Hello, my honeys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Healthy Emmie. I am so happy that you're here. We have 3 delicious snacks that I'm going to be showing you how to make today, and they're all from my Healthy Snacks cookbook. But before we get into the food, if you don't know who I am, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, I'm a weight loss specialist, and I'm the creator of the Slim on Starch program. If you're interested in that program, then click the link in the down bar. Not only will I tell you exactly what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, but you can also get support from a mindset coach and a nutrition coach in that program if you are seeking more support on your journey and a more personalized approach. The first snack from my Healthy Snacks cookbook are these crunchy, oil-free, cheesy kale chips. Totally vegan, oil-free, dairy-free. It's not actually cheese, but it has this delicious cheesy flavor, and they are super crunchy without having oil. You get these at the grocery store. They're going to be drenched in oil. They're actually going to be super high fat. They're probably going to have actual cheese added to them. They mask as a healthy food, but actually they're pretty calorically dense. These ones are low calorie. This whole tray is probably less than 100 calories, whereas you could have a few chips for 100 calories. So let's get into how to make these. Okay, so we're going to start with our kale, and we are going to, you see it's on this long stem here. So we want to de-stem it, just peel it away from the stem. Now, as I'm doing this, let me chat about what most store-bought kale chips are going to look like. Store-bought kale chips, they seem so healthy, they're marketed beautifully, but unfortunately they're actually going to be really high in fat because they're going to be cooked with oil. If you are looking to have an efficient, fast, firing metabolism, then having foods that are heavy in oil is not going to be your friend, because oil, being the most calorically dense food product on the planet, is going to contribute to weight gain. And if you are holding on to excess fat, that's going to lead to metabolic disorders like insulin resistance, like things like diabetes. So in order to keep the metabolism efficient, to keep your body weight in a healthy place, we want to be making these oil-free kale chips so as not to put on extra weight, to even release weight in the process and prevent you from struggling with metabolic disorders. Additionally, because oils are pretty high in omega-6s, these contribute to inflammation, and inflammation has been shown to be linked to metabolic disorders as well. Chronic inflammation can also be a contributor for things like poor digestion, weight gain, fatigue, fogginess, other gut issues. So we want to make sure that we are preventing inflammation. So as you can see, I have all my stems here. I can discard of these. Now I need a bowl. So now I'm going to add these into a bowl. And then I'm going to take some vinegar of choice. You can use any vinegar that you would like. I have balsamic vinegar on hand. You could also use apple cider vinegar. You could use even something like pickle juice, or you could use veggie broth. But what I have on hand is this balsamic vinegar. And I am actually going to use a spray bottle top. Because we aren't using oil, I do want to give some moisture to the kale chips to allow the spices to stick and also to allow them to crunch up a little bit more easily. So I am just taking this spray bottle top and I'm going to put it onto the vinegar. I'm going to spray the chips with some of the balsamic. And then I'm going to mix 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix this all together. And I'll spray on more balsamic if I need to help it stick. Now I'm going to take a baking sheet. I'm going to line it with parchment paper. Of course, lay the kale chips on top. And you want to lay them sort of as flat as you can. And then any of the mixture that's left, I'll just spread on top. You could also do some salt and pepper on here. This is another thing, is I'm using nutritional yeast because a lot of kale chips at the grocery store actually have Parmesan cheese on them. And I'm going to talk about dairy a little bit with the next snack, about how we want to avoid that. Now the oven is preheated at 350 and I'm going to pop it in there for 12 to 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, these just came out of the oven and they look absolutely amazing. They smell so good and they are nice and crunchy. There is absolutely no oil needed for these. It's amazing how crunchy they can be when you just spray them with the balsamic vinegar and put them in the oven for the right amount of time. No air fryer needed. Now there is another property to these kale chips that I want to talk about that do help with supporting a healthy metabolism, and that is capsaicin. Capsaicin is what's found in smoked paprika. It's also found in peppers. It's what gives it that spicy heat, and it's shown to boost thermogenesis and also energy expenditure. So it's going to help support a healthy metabolism. So adding in some spices like hot peppers or like smoked paprika, not just to this meal, but to any of your meals, to your soups and stews, are going to have the metabolism boosting property. It's also been shown that capsaicin can help with blood sugar regulation. So for individuals that struggle with their blood sugar, having in some spices can help with that as well. Snack number 1 is in the books. Let's move on to snack number 2. One of the most important things to make sure that you are supporting a healthy metabolism is going to be properly supplementing, specifically with vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is involved in the metabolism of carbs, fats, proteins. It really does play a key role in the synthesis of fatty acids and breaking down your fatty acids and amino acids for energy production. And so if you don't have enough B12, those metabolic processes are impaired, which is going to lead to decreased energy production. It's going to lead to fatigue. It's going to lead to a sluggish metabolism. So I take this daily. This is the cleanest one that you're going to find. This is linked below. Get yours today, because all the other ones that you're going to find at the market, you go pick this up at the grocery store, it's going to be disgusting. The ones at the grocery store have sugar and animal products and oils and GMOs, but as you can see here, this one is no sugar, no oil, no GMOs, no animal products, no gross stuff. Vegan, clean, premium ingredients. Snack number 2 from the Healthy Snacks cookbook are these no-bake cream cheese stuffed peppers. Of course, completely vegan, completely dairy-free, so easy, just a few ingredients. Let's get into these. So for these, we are going to be using these sweet peppers. You can get these usually in the bag at the grocery store. If you get just the loose bell peppers, those are going to be really big. But if you buy them bagged, then they're going to be these sort of bite-sized little mini peppers. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the caps off, of course, and then we're going to split them in half. After splitting them in half, you're going to make sure to de-seed them, take out anything that's on the inside and discard of it, compost it. And then I'm going to be filling this with the cream cheese that actually I make in the Healthy Snacks cookbook. So in the Healthy Snacks cookbook, I have a recipe for vegan oil-free cream cheese that you can make yourself. Alternatively, you could use vegan cream cheese like a Kite Hill brand that doesn't have any oil, but you absolutely want to make sure that you are not using dairy cream cheese. The reason why is this. It's actually estimated that almost 70% of the population has lactose malabsorption. After we're infants, we lose the ability to digest lactose. You know, we can breastfeed and then we stop breastfeeding because we aren't going to digest that milk anymore. And we should never be drinking cow's milk in the first place. But that's a story for a different time. We are not designed to be able to absorb lactose and to be able to have dairy. In fact, if we look at it based on race and ethnicity, you'll find that certain races and certain ethnicities really have trouble with digesting lactose. I believe it's almost very close to 99% to 100% of Asian individuals really cannot digest lactose. And so lactose malabsorption, lactose intolerance is actually a metabolic disorder. So we are not doing our metabolism any favors by giving it a substance that about 70% of the population can't deal with. So let's use my plant-based alternative. Now, the plant-based alternative is a bit higher in fat. So if you're looking to release weight, then what I would suggest actually is instead of filling these with cream cheese, you could fill these with an oil-free hummus that you make yourself. I also have a recipe for that in the Healthy Snacks cookbook, but this is so easy and so simple. And this is a great way to get in more veggies and to keep it raw as well. So all you do is open these up, you put in the hummus or you put in the vegan cream cheese, the plant-based oil-free cream cheese. And then on top, I'm going to be putting some fresh herbs. It is absolutely key to use fresh herbs here as opposed to using dried. It makes such a difference. So I have fresh dill and I also have fresh chives. And I'm just going to take a scissor and cut these on top. And when I say it makes a difference, it really does make a difference to get the fresh stuff as opposed to using dried herbs. Okay, I just have to pause because I need to share this. My heart is bursting. My client Patty just posted in our support group and wrote, yesterday I had my first check-ins with my nutrition and mindset coaches. I feel so supported and motivated. I can't even try to express how grateful I am to be here. When you work with me in the Slim on Starch program, you don't just work with me, but you also have 2 other members of my team here supporting you. I pull in a nutrition coach and I pull in a mindset coach. So shout out to coaches Danny and Sarah, who are working with myself and Patty on Team Patty to get her to where she wants to be. I just had to share that. My heart was so full. So if you are interested in getting support from a mindset coach, a nutrition coach, and from me and feeling super supported on your journey, then click the link below to get started on the Slim on Starch program. The final recipe from my Healthy Snacks cookbook are these apple nachos. Let's make them. For my apple nachos, I of course am going to take an apple and I'm actually going to cut it this way, right through the core. And I'm going to keep the skin on because the skin contains fiber. And fiber is very helpful for something called calorie trapping. So calorie trapping is something that I talked about in my interview with Dr. Barnard. And what calorie trapping is when the food that you're eating is high in fiber, the fiber can actually escort some of the calories out of your body and you end up not absorbing them. So very useful for individuals that are trying to release weight, making sure that you are keeping the fiber intact with the foods that you're eating will be helpful to helping you release weight and not having to starve yourself in the process. So of course, apple nachos are not going to be cheesy nachos, but when we say nachos, we are just speaking to the culinary design. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut out the middle here. All right. Now I'm just going to line these onto a plate and then I'm going to top them with whatever type of nut butter I would like to. If you're looking to release weight, I would suggest using something like a PB2 that's going to be lower in fat. But for myself personally, since I'm not trying to release weight, I'm just going to use some plain nut butter and drizzle this over the top. Then for the toppings, it's really up to you. Of course, you have to have cinnamon. That's an absolute non-negotiable. But then you can add on some things like some flax seeds or some chia seeds or some hemp hearts to give it a little boost of nutrition. What you're seeing here is me adding on some oats and then also some of the Hu brand chocolate chips. The Hu brand chocolate chips are fantastic because they are just made with dates and what else? Organic cacao, date, cacao butter, and vanilla bean. If you are looking to release weight, then you would want to do apples with the PB2, and then on top you could put blueberries, you could put some sliced banana, you could put some celery on top as well. You could dice up some celery and put that on top for a little bit of a salty crunch to complement the sweetness of the apple and the savory of the peanut butter. If you are up to speed because you made it to this point of the video and you have a copy of this here Healthy Snacks cookbook, then comment up to speed so that I know who my Healthy Hunnies are. Get a copy of the Healthy Snacks cookbook so that you can have tons more ideas just like these, super simple, super easy, and also make sure to support your metabolism by making sure that you are supplementing with vitamin B12. You can get this linked below as well. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.